悪霊退散。
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today in this video, we're going to give you guys kind of an update on everything that's happening. We're going to be talking about Instagram. We're going to be talking about the Emmys. We're going to be talking about Tekken, PlayStation, and a couple other topics that I have mixed in. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing, liking, and also for smaller channels like myself, you can hype the video. But without further ado, the first thing that I want to talk about is just kind of wrapping off this whole conversation surrounding Xbox and PlayStation. Now, we kind of have a weekly sales for those hardwares, and Switch 2 actually has 32,000. PlayStation 5 has 10,000. Switch 1 also has 10,000. And then Xbox Series, both the S and X, is at 730. So that kind of puts it into perspective how grim it is for Xbox. So when you hear reports of the Xbox CEO being renamed as the advisor to the US Federal Reserve of Productivity and Jobs, it makes sense. These guys are moving around left and right. They're trying to figure out what's best for the company and best for themselves. She was put in charge to try to clean up Xbox, and it just didn't work. Xbox is honestly just sinking. I also heard a report from her as well that she basically was blaming all of this on the expansion that happened during the pandemic. In the pandemic, they, PlayStation, Xbox, a lot of companies were just buying stuff, right? And Xbox bought a lot of different game studios, and that bloated the company. It stretched them thin. They were even using Minecraft profits to prop up the company. So she said that was a major mistake that Xbox made, and I guess this is the fallout of it. As for PlayStation, though, it's still dark news over there. Those guys don't seem to be reverting their course at all. But we do have an update from Marvel Tokon. The report is Marvel Tokon's Steam info page has been updated, and several countries has been removed from the restricted list, including Dominican Republic, Philippines, Lithuania, and a couple of more. So even though this isn't a total removal of all of those different countries, you do have some big contenders, especially in terms of the FGC, like Pakistan. I remember when I mentioned that in my previous video, a lot of people in the comment section was not happy about that. So you guys can celebrate a little bit because the Philippines, Pakistan, and a couple other places will be able to participate in this game's release, but the job's not over because there's a lot of other games that's been blocked out. As for Street Fighter 6, there is a little bit of a clarification that we need to give, and this is regarding the 10-year life cycle. The producer and director both spoke at length about what they meant when they said that, and to keep it short, there is no confirmation that this is going to be a 10-year project. The quote says, rather we went into development with the mindset that we would love to have Street Fighter operating and expanding for 10 years. They also say that there will be more stuff happening in the future for the world tour, for the game itself. They are looking to expand the game, but they did clarify here that it's not exactly 10 years. So that's a big thing because we were taking that tagline and applying it to all different places because that's a pretty big thing if Street Fighter was coming out the gate swinging like that. But also what I would like to talk about is the current state of fighting games as a whole. There's some ups, there's some downs. Currently for Tekken, it's looking really, really grim. You have a lot of people, myself included, who are looking for the exit. FDX has been playing a lot more Street Fighter, and recently he posted this to Twitter, and this is a stream summary, which says, FDX is still in the lab, tilted and venting hard about Tekken, calling it state-mandated stances between matches, planning to log off and hit Street Fighter tomorrow. I really would like for the Tekken developers to try and fix the game a little bit. The gameplay is just so far gone from what the game used to be, and it's tough to play the game, enjoy it, but then also just talk about it. Like me personally, I'm trying to branch out and cover more topics because I don't feel like it's fair to you guys for me to just rant all day about problems that probably would never be fixed. There's a whole different world out there of cool things that we could talk about, interesting conversations we can have, while also still participating in Tekken. For example, I recently shared Ninja Killer's accomplishment to Twitter, him being the first person to reach God Infinite. And I was very happy to see that this post got a lot of likes and a lot of attention. This means a lot more people are talking about Ninja Killer. I did the same thing for Yord Reds after Yord Reds reached God Infinite. He's the second player in the world to do so. And I just love that with the platform I have, I can try to spread awareness for these pro players. I can't do anything and everything, but when I know when I talk about some of these guys, I see people in the comment section saying, who's this guy? I don't know who this is. So the fact that these guys are finding some new exposure, just a little bit of new exposure through me, I'm just happy that I can help and spread awareness to some of these guys who are doing great and putting up a good effort. Currently, right now, when you look at the leaderboards, only Fake Taxi, which is Ninja Killer, and You're the Reds, which is the Middle Eastern player who have God of Destruction. There are only two people who have Infinite in the game so far. Hopefully, more players are motivated to do so. This is a big accomplishment. It will be difficult, but at the end of the day, it will be plentiful. A screenshot of my tweet was also shared to Instagram and has over 36,000 likes. It's beautiful to see Tekken get this much attention and it be something positive for once. Now, while we're on the topic of Instagram, I actually made an Instagram and I will be posting a lot there. And while we're on the topic of Instagram, I do want to note some of the trouble that they're getting into. This report says Instagram now lets other people use your public photos for AI. Users can generate AI images using public profiles by tagging accounts in their prompts. That is crazy. I think AI is inevitable, and it's fighting against that. It's like fighting against the internet. It's going to get here. There's no stopping it. But do we have to implement it in this way? No one on earth is asking for these features, and Instagram is just all of these corporations, really, they're not the first one to do something like this, but all of these corporations are just shoving AI down people's throats in the worst way possible. And it's like, bro, please do better. This is not what people don't want to have to worry about their pictures being AI trying to dig up dirt on them. They don't want to have to worry about all of that. There should be more restrictions on this to protect people and their privacy and their safety. But Meta, if the tide falls the wrong way, they could be facing the consequences of some of their actions. It says Meta could face 1.4 trillion in penalties over claims Facebook and Instagram fueled the teen mental health crisis. Multiple U.S. states allege the company deliberately designed a platform to be addicted for young users. I remember there was a report during the pandemic that said Instagram knows that their platform is very harmful for the minds of young women, and they did nothing to stop it. And they also played into it because they just want you to use the platform, and they figure out things that work, and then they stick to it no matter what the cost is. And now we see, hopefully, that the cost is 1.4 trillion. Usually when these companies get hit, it's like, oh, 2 million. You know, you find a multi-billion-dollar company, 2 million. It's like, that's nothing, bro. They're going to keep doing it. But if they get hit with something that has a T on the end of it, yeah, they're going to be hurting badly. I'll keep you guys updated on that because it's really interesting. But this isn't all of the troubles for Instagram. So currently, to my understanding, there is a rare bacteria that's going around America, and it's giving people diarrhea. And it's been traced back to Mark Zuckerberg's 800 million metadata center. I don't even understand what that means. A rare bacteria giving people diarrhea, and it comes from a data center that is probably tied to like AI and just data harvesting. Bro, these guys are villains. These guys are like real life villains. They're just billionaire monsters who the world is their plaything. It's crazy. Meta shares a statement regarding the safety concerns following Instagram's generative AI update. We built this feature with strong controls and safety guardrails from day one. Private accounts that are under 18 are automatically excluded, and adults with public accounts can opt out with easy to use controls. We'll take action against any content that violate our rules. All of these different caveats being applied, you could tell they're not serious. You could tell that they don't care. But moving on though, the last thing that I want to talk about is the Emmys. And I know a lot of people don't really care about these award shows because they're all like rigged and faked, and we knew this for like a decade plus now, but I still like to pay attention to it somewhat because this just gives you a look at what mainstream media kind of values. And a recent report says Invincible has never been nominated for Best Animated Series at the Emmys. That is diabolical because this is definitely one of the most viral and popular shows out there. The fact that this show isn't getting all the love and praise and props is kind of a slap in the face because it's definitely one of the most impactful in terms of memes, in terms of culture. Omni-Man and Homelander are the modern day pop icons to the likes of like Darth Vader and stuff like that. Thanos is another one. And to see that only the internet gives them their props, it's kind of sad. And then I also seen, while we're on the topic of The Boys, Anthony Starr has officially never been nominated for an Emmy for playing Homelander in The Boys. This guy solo carried that entire show and it was trash. Without Homelander, without Anthony Starr, if you put another actor in that role, this show really falls apart. The only time it was really hyped is when Homelander was on screen. And the fact that they didn't get an Emmy, the fact they're not being showered in praises and all of this stuff is wild. But this just shows you what legacy media has become. I'm happy that people are shining the light on all of these different things that I talked about in this video, because this is the real way that we make change. But that's pretty much all for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and bye bye.